a world travel video from the Swiss collection. The majestic beauty of these mountains forms a backdrop for a land rich in tradition. A variety of sights and sounds come alive in a place where yesterday and tomorrow are blended together for people who love to travel. A place that holds magic and adventure for all who come under its spell. Christmas in Zermatt. Traveling to the world-famous resort, Zermatt, high in the Alps, is an exciting and breathtaking adventure. And at Christmas time, you will be filled with warm, happy memories that will last a lifetime, especially when riding on the Brigg-Visp Zermatt Railway, better known as the BVZ. Take this spectacular ride and see the landscapes which have inspired poets, painters, musicians, artists, and romantics for many centuries here in the heart of the Alps. Excitement pervades this journey like none other in the Alps, as the alpine characteristics of the valley unfold slowly after leaving Visp. Since 1933, the BVZ has been bringing tourists and travelers to Zermatt year-round. Before then, the BVZ could only make the ascent in summer due to the enormous winter snowfall the area is famous for. Zermatt remains one of the few great alpine villages retaining most of its original character. Zermatt, translated from the Old Swiss dialect, means to the meadows. When arriving, the valley opens, giving the feeling of a vast meadow. The traveler will notice immediately this is a car-free village. Transportation is by horse-drawn sleigh, electric taxi, sleds, skis, or walking. All this adds to its romance and its charm. Upon your arrival, a state-of-the-art hotel call board gives you immediate telephone connection to the over 100 registered hotels of Zermatt. Many hotels and restaurants have a cabaret to enhance the holiday atmosphere. The spirits are always alive and infectious, due largely to the expertise of the hoteliers who know exactly how to cater to all tastes. All the Zermatt establishments are members of the Swiss Hotel Association and comply with strict regulations to bring you the finest possible accommodations. All who travel to Switzerland agree that these hotels are the cleanest, best-kept hotels in all the world. Hotel star ratings, as found in Britain and France, for example, have only recently been introduced to Switzerland. The minimum and maximum prices give an indication of the range of accommodations you can find in a particular hotel. Altogether, Zermatt hoteliers provide 6,000 beds, with almost double that amount available in holiday apartments. The main thoroughfare starts at the train station and moves for a short distance to the church square. Part of Zermatt's charm and appeal is centered on this one street. It is both a shop window to whet the appetite for indulging in a spending spree and a prompter for enthusiasm to make excursions further up to heights that may literally take your breath away. It has the appropriate amount of the civilized world, reflecting comforts and possessions. This thoroughfare will never strike you as being artificial. The main street may be the center of life, but not all points of interest are found here. Skating rink, tennis courts, the museum, and the cinema are located on adjacent streets. To help travelers with information on sport and culture activities, as well as details on hotels and restaurants, the tourist office located next to the train station has become a thriving organizational force for Zermatt. The architect of Zermatt as a tourist center was hotelier Alexander Seiler, who lived through the early and influential phases of development. He died in the year the railway was opened from Visp to Zermatt, 1891. Everyone agrees that Mr. Seiler would be proud of the Zermatt of today because it is a logical extension of the plans and work he pursued all of his life. Welcome to the Hotel Montserrat, located in the heart of Zermatt. This grand hotel is most comfortable and tastefully decorated. The 5 floors of rooms and suites are Zermatt's leading accommodations for relaxation and excellence and have all the amenities. Personal and discreet service guarantees attention to your every need. And perhaps Montserrat's best feature is that many of the rooms have a picture postcard view of the most famous peak in all the Alps, and perhaps the world, the Matterhorn. At an altitude of 14,692 feet, the Matterhorn appears as a sharp pyramid, leaning slightly to one side. But from other points on the compass, the majestic peak takes on many and varied shapes. Because of a mistaken judgment in the steepness, most of the earliest serious attempts to climb the mountain were made from the Italian side. These attempts date from the 1850s. Edward Whymper's final and successful attempt on the Swiss Ridge in 1865 was due to a rather hasty decision and involved an element of chance. More on this fascinating yet tragic story later on. Being an exceptionally clear day, we are going to go exploring on what is undoubtedly one of the most rewarding adventures in all the district, the Gornergrat Railway. Among the highest of all the cogwheel railways in Europe, the cogwheel, which literally means wheel with teeth, ensures our traction on this steep, exhilarating climb. The Gornergrat Railway will take us to a height of 10,200 feet above sea level. On this climb, you may notice that Zermatt has the highest timberline of Europe. These towering pines can grow at an altitude of 8,200 feet above sea level. On this excursion, we go through a unique station known as Riffelberg. For skiers, this is a wonderful location for staging smaller journeys, as there are so many varied slopes and lifts in this area. This is our stopping place for an outdoor scenic lunch. The Riffelberg Hotel and Restaurant caters to skiers and non-skiers alike. Originally used by climbers as a stopping place to get food and water and much-needed rest, the climbers would head from here to the Monte Rosa Peak. Now we are off to make the last leg of our little journey. The railway is perhaps the fastest and easiest way to the Gornergrat crest, and most visitors know this. early morning and late afternoon are assuredly the best times of day to arrive at the top. This is the location for an observatory, which also is a unique hotel with 2 restaurants. The observatory has a radio telescope that is used by international astronomers. One can easily understand this location for such a structure because of the horizon line available from this vantage point. You can have a wonderful meal here at the restaurant while enjoying the clear mountain air and glorious sunshine. And the scenery. Nowhere in the Alps can so many peaks be identified. The Monte Rosa, Weisshorn, Castor and Pollux, Klein Matterhorn, Rempfischhorn, Aladenhorn, Breithorn, and many others. From an airplane, we can get a closer look of the many glaciers that surround Zermatt, some of which stretch over 5 miles long and hundreds of yards deep. The Gorner Glacier is the second largest ice flow in the Alps, that stretching far down the northwest end of the Monte Rosa Massif. The largest is Aletsch Glacier in the northern Valais. These massive tongues of extremely slow-moving ice have carved out amphitheater-like valleys eons ago. The unique pyramid shape of the Matterhorn itself was carved out by the movement of glaciers from different directions. In fact, the entire Alps were carved, altered, and designed by the giant ancestors of these glaciers during the Ice Age. Today, although limited to a portion of the Earth's surface and relatively much smaller, these glaciers continue to alter landscape by eroding, transporting, and depositing soil and rock. Crevasses, servacs, and moraines, all are fascinating manifestations of these awesome creatures which once ruled the Earth. While in Zermatt, you will meet people from all over the world, and there may be no better place to do that than in the Hotel Montserrat Rendezvous Bar. If you came here to try your rusty French, German, or Italian, you came to the right place. Remember, though, almost always, the hotel staff in any establishment can reply in English. Also note, each Wednesday in peak travel season, you can find a wonderful delicacy here. The Oyster Bar gracefully prepares this favorite delicacy with lemon, herbs, and spices. Christmas is perhaps the hotelier's favorite time of year, and the Hotel Yulin makes every effort to create an atmosphere which you will enjoy and cherish with the entire family. Being a romantic hotel, which is an honorary organization for traditionally styled hotels and restaurants in some parts of Europe, the owner actually is the hotel manager, giving the guest the most personal service available. These family-operated hotels and restaurants stake their reputation on the food they serve. In Zermatt, as all over Europe, they want very much to please the customer. So, if you're looking for a small, intimate place, check out this romantic hotel, the Yulin, here in Zermatt. Because over half the hotels have their own fine restaurants, finding excellent cuisine is easy. At the Montserrat Hotel restaurant, the guest will find excellently trained waiters who seem to anticipate your every wish. Dine in small, intimate groups, or join with other guests at the lavish buffet. It's Christmas Eve, so there are many additional gourmet delights added to the already excellent menu. Also, guests would be well advised to ask for the list of locally produced wines. From the vineyards on the north banks of La Clément to the eastern vineyards of the Herrschaft, the Swiss have a large variety of unique and delightful wines available. Zermatt and Switzerland were open to civilization at the same time that they were open to Christianity. Here, as in the neighboring countries, the monasteries of the Middle Ages were holding grounds of culture. To visit here and contemplate the political and religious struggles that took place through the ages may bring a fuller understanding of what Christmas truly is. In the 15th century, the peaceful intervention of the saintly hermit Nicholas van der Vlue saved the Swiss cantons from civil war and cemented their unity. The denominational and linguistic differences long established in Switzerland have not always made for mutual understanding among its citizens. But through the course of time, as threatening war has given way to peaceful coexistence and then to collaboration and fellowship, which has schooled the world in tolerance, it is no wonder the World Council of Churches makes its home in this country, in the city of Geneva. All the joy you give away returns to you on Christmas Day. Because this land has a mystical quality all its own, the Swiss spend a great deal of energy preserving folklore and tradition with the passage of this spirited holiday. The legend of Nicholas and his protector Smutzli is a favorite among all who come here. The legend grew from stories of a generous man who traveled from village to village giving nuts and small trinkets to less fortunate children. Because of the precarious roads he traveled, he found it necessary to travel with a companion, Smutzli. This character would put ashes over his skin to make himself appear more frightening. Many stories have developed over the centuries about these two and their travels. On Christmas Day in Zermatt, Father Christmas and Smutzli visit the bigger hotels, bringing a smile and good cheer to children of all ages. One thing can be certain: the Swiss enjoy very much preserving the spirit of this holiday. There are some who say the best test of your ability comes from challenging the environment. And in Zermatt, there are dozens of ways to do just that. Curling. This unique sport, often described as shuffleboard on ice, enjoys a growing popularity and is a favorite recreation among the Swiss as well as the Scotch and the British. To play the game, curlers slide a 40-pound round granite stone fitted with a handle on top toward a bullseye 138 feet away. 4 persons, each having 2 stones, make up a team or rink. Taking turns, each slide their stones across the ice, trying to avoid their teammates and knock their opponent's stones further away. A slight twist on delivery can cause the stone to curl slightly, hence the name curling. Also, as you can see, teammates can help each other by swooping or sweeping rapidly in front of the stone, helping with direction and distance. Ice skating aficionados are permitted to glide and jump from 9:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. daily. Those a little rusty on the old blades can find well-qualified instruction. There is even group instruction for any level of skater. All this takes place on the Obermatten, a natural ice rink. This is a colorful place with interesting people who enjoy being in the fresh air and sunshine. Cross-country skiing is a sport with no age limit and is enjoyed throughout Switzerland. Even if you've never skied at all, this sport needs no great skill. Young people of all ages make excellent use of two primary ski trails. Both are within a short walk of the village. Never is a fee charged to use the well-groomed trails, and like skating and downhill skiing, there is fine instruction and equipment available. Zermatt is a skier's paradise. 36 mountain transport facilities and 44 marked ski runs allow skiers long, gradual descents from the breathtaking heights down to the village. Early every morning, information is gathered on weather, snow, and lift conditions, and is then displayed at various computer terminals throughout the village. Also, this information is broadcast in English, German, and French several times each morning on Zermatt's exclusive radio station. Radio Matterhorn is Switzerland's only private radio station in a ski resort. This region accommodates beginner, intermediate, and advanced slopes. Multilingual, talented ski instruction is easy to arrange, sharpening the technique of any level of skier. Zermatt is also connected with Italian lifts on the south side of the border, allowing romantic ski trips into another country. Remember, Zermatt is also famous for that exciting powder snow. Many of the hotels have wonderful swimming facilities. After a long, hard day on the slopes or an exhausting all-day shopping spree, weary travelers find a trip to the pool or jacuzzi just the ticket to new life. Enjoy your swim overlooking the winter wonderland through large glass windows. Many of the larger hotels offer sauna, massage, as well as racquetball and weight rooms. A few offer indoor tennis. Zermatt has many varied culinary treats. One can get anything from Szechuan to a local favorite, fondue. The China Garden restaurant has an authentic and wonderful Oriental menu. If you enjoy Chinese cuisine, by all means, stop by this remarkable little establishment. They have everything from fried rice to Peking duck. There's also the London Bar downstairs to help with the spirits, as they say in England. The China Garden has a cozy atmosphere and service that any culture would be proud of. A Stubli is a small, intimate restaurant with an abundance of character. The Wimperstubli offers many Swiss specialties. The socially popular meal of fondue is just one. In the late 1800s, climbers used to stay here in the Monte Rosa Hotel and exchange news about the peaks. The climbers would do so over this meal. Gruyere and Emmentaler cheese, along with corn flour, wine, and a taste of schnapps, make up this delicious Swiss specialty. Take the long-handled fork to spear the bread cubes, then dip and swirl. And remember to always swirl to the right or clockwise, and beware that there is a penalty for dropping your breadcrumbs in the dish. If it is a man, he must buy the next bottle of wine. If it is a woman, she must forfeit a kiss. The Wimperstubli, like all of Switzerland, is rich with these traditions, giving you that special kind of Christmas that fills you with warm, happy memories. Another fine restaurant, the Schafferstubli, has a Swiss favorite known as raclette. Like fondue, the basic staple of this meal is cheese, raclette cheese. After it's been warmed to the melting point, long ago by an open fire, but more often today by these specially designed broilers, it is scraped onto a plate and is served with a couple of small potatoes, sweet onions, and pickles. Traditionally, white wine is served with this little meal, and very often people have more than one plate in the course of the evening. When one rides through Old Zermatt, a feeling of being transported back in time comes over you as houses from 1600s line the small street. These houses are typical of the 17th century in that the windows are very small and the stairs to the second story are outside. Very often, staddles or small barns are nearby, one to house the livestock and the other to hold hay and dried meat and cheese. An example of old world ingenuity can be found in the construction of these staddles. The stones of the foundation and the way they are placed make it impossible for small rodents to crawl around, keeping the contents preserved. The Swiss have always demonstrated their ingenuity in engineering and construction. Sonega, or Sunny Corner, as it is translated from an old Swiss dialect, became the location for the Sonega Express in 1980 at a total cost of 15.5 million Swiss francs. At the time, that was 9.7 million in American dollars. It is described as a masterpiece in engineering because of the angle at which it was drilled. Many layers of hard rock, granite, quartz, and slate posed real adversity to the 60-ton drilling machine. But eventually, man and machine won out. The actual tunnel measures 1,540 yards long, and since it's underground, the Sonega Express leaves the nature above completely undisturbed. No matter what the weather, this underground rail will transport the adventurer in a dry, comfortable, modern atmosphere to the Sonega station. The train climbs at the rate of 10 yards a second and transports 200 people in one journey, lasting 3 minutes, moving up to 2,540 persons an hour. Sonega, the Sunny Corner, Zermatt's most popular ski area. When visiting Zermatt, make sure you ride this super high-tech engineering masterpiece. Mountain restaurants have been designed to cater to the skier and climber alike. These restaurants at convenient locations often have some of the most unique cultural flavors of all the Swiss establishments. Here, Enzo's is no exception. With Rosti and a little beer or wine, anything can happen. Rosti, a unique dish prepared by grating boiled potatoes, followed by a gentle fry in an iron skillet, can be served with eggs, meat, or vegetables. Try a local specialty, Rosti. Enzo's is perhaps most famous for the unique cultivation of exotic plant life. Also, come and try Enzo's world-famous Italian dishes and enjoy champagne. After frolicking in the snow, let's stop at the Champagne Bar. This outdoor bar, made entirely from snow, is a real novelty to those skiers coming down from the Sonega ski area, and it makes a wonderful meeting place. Warm up with a coffee fertig, That's a fine blend of coffee with a little schnapps. Or have the house favorite.
Like champagne.
Champagne, anyone?
Champagne, hello.
Like any fine resort area, there is thriving nightlife. For those who like the hoot with the owls, Zermatt offers some of the best dancing and nightlife activities in all of the Alps. A day trip to Tash is an easy and beautiful excursion. The village is famous for 2 large ski jumps used for an occasional international meeting. The BVZ Railway provides service to Tash every 20 minutes. Alternatively, travelers may ride by taxi on this short but dramatic trip. Not until recently have travelers paid much attention to this, the last village before Zermatt. There are several good smaller hotels helping to make it quite a thriving community of its own. Some people prefer to stay in Tash and go up to Zermatt daily. Today, all auto touring visitors must leave their cars in huge parking lots before going on to Zermatt. This is a land where yesterday is very much alive. The land, like the people, is rich in diversity and as gentle as a childhood story. In the Alps, almost everyone skis, and though skiing has been around for many centuries, today there are only 2 basic types, Nordic and Alpine. Here, one can enjoy miles of beautiful cross-country ski trails. A day trip to Saas-Fee, less than an hour away, has much to offer the tourist and explorer. This quaint village, like Zermatt, is car-free with everything from a cinema to a rifle range, and by all means, all sorts of shops. This village spreads across a large open plain at the foot of a broad glacier basin, second only in size in this region to the Gorner Glacier Basin. Saas-Fee has more than 50 small hotels and guest houses and many fine restaurants. Hotel Dome is the leading 3-star hotel here and is obviously well guarded. At the Dome's Jubilee, the traveler can try countless varieties of Rosti, along with many other Swiss favorites. The traveler recognizes Saas-Fee immediately as a serious ski community, with 4 cableways that can transport a great number of skiers to the majestic peaks in this area. This is also the home of Europe's highest underground funicular, the Metro Alpine. Via this transport facility, we arrive at the Mittel Alaline station, high in the mountain terrain. The show begins the second you sit down, as this restaurant rotates once an hour, giving patrons a full 360-degree view of all the glaciers and peaks as far as the eye can see. With friendly service, this unique restaurant will cater to your every need. On your return to Zermatt, you will get your first glimpse of the Matterhorn at the train station. But the little brother to the famous pyramid, the Klein Matterhorn, is already visible just after St. Nicholas, 11 miles from Zermatt. Since December 23, 1979, many thousands of adventurers have oohed and awed through this experience high above the Theodule Glacier on this, the Klein Matterhorn Cableway. The first stop in our ascent is Fury. This has become the major hub for the whole area, as there are cable cars to Schwarzsee, Ferd, and our pathway to the summit, Trocknerstieg. To get to Fury, some prefer to ride in the small 6-person gondolas, while other adventurers find the walk up from Zermatt through the woods most pleasurable. Of course, you can take a horse-drawn sleigh for that matter. The Swiss people cherish their yesterdays in this magical land, and while in Fury, this is realized in the many wonderful mountain restaurants that have been in the same families for generations. If you are wondering what technology is behind these cable car systems, a balanced tension of 140 tons utilizing this massive tension machine and huge cement weights keeps this entire cable span taut. All 6 cable cars are powered by large electric motors. However, each motor has an auxiliary gasoline backup engine. This provides a service capacity for up to 600 persons per hour. From Fury, we ride a large modern cable car up to Trocknerstieg. This mountain station is built on bedrock just below the glacier border. Complete with restaurants, kiosk, and sun terrace, Trocknerstieg is the base for several drag lifts which maintain Europe's largest summer ski area. It is also our last stop before the glorious 8-minute ride to the summit. Most likely, none of the alpinists of the last 2 centuries could ever have imagined, even in their wildest dreams, what developments the 20th century would hold for modern adventurers. Now, we pick up the tramway, the highest enclosed cable car service in the Alps to ride to the Breithorn Plateau. As early as the 1950s, Zermatters became fascinated by the idea of skiing all year. With that, the Theodul Glacier and the Klein Matterhorn was recognized as the area where these transport facilities could be built. August 1976 to December 1979 marked the period of construction. The bulk of that time was spent digging and constructing a 200-yard tunnel through the Little Matterhorn's peak. This tunnel connects the sheer north face of the mountain where the cable car arrives to the gentle plateau on the southern side where summer and winter skiing begins. The mountain terminal alone required more than 2,000 cubic yards of concrete, which was flown in to the site by a massive helicopter brigade. The pleasure of the tramway ride is enhanced by a soul-touching panoramic view from the very top of the Klein Matterhorn. This vantage point can only be reached from the Gipfel elevator or peak elevator, which lies on the east side of the tunnel, about 100 yards down from the tram. The elevator surges up another 200 feet to the observatory terrace. The thrill of being at the top of the world causes one to reflect upon those early pioneers of the Alps, and for a moment, time seems to stand still here in the heavens. Pasta and a Chianti, outdoor lunch in the warm sun. Italy for a day. Most newcomers to Zermatt find a trip over to Cervinia, Italy, a zestful and novel way to spend a day. Stop at the Testa Gricia on the Swiss-Italian border, which also has a restaurant and cable car station. While at the top, the panoramic view to the south and west will sparkle your spirits with yet one more staggering vista. On your way down, go through Theodule Pass, which, like many passes in this area, boasts the gateway for Hannibal. This fascinating story explores Hannibal's march of the African elephant through the pass and into Europe during the age of the Roman Empire. Those wishing to get back to the Swiss side must leave early, as the Italian lifts have been known to stop transporting without notice. Zermatt's Alpine Museum documents a dramatic and tragic event that took place in our small alpine village. Edward Whymper, along with many climbers of his day, used the Monte Rosa Hotel as a home base in his many attempts to conquer the bewitching Matterhorn. Almost all serious attempts were from the Italian side. Whymper, however, came to the conclusion the Matterhorn might be easier to climb from the Swiss side. With that, Whymper joined forces with a group of experienced Swiss, French, and English climbers. The day July 14, 1865, was cloudless. The ascent to 11,000 feet seemed effortless. The guides who had gone ahead to look over the next phase of the climb came back reporting not a single difficulty. We could have gone to the summit. The next day, just before 2 p.m., the world was at their feet, and the Matterhorn was conquered. With their descent, however, came tragedy. The second man, a Mr. Haddow, slipped, dislodging Michael Crows, Mr. Hudson, and Lord Douglas. All this the work of a single moment. The three above braced themselves and held firmly, but the rope broke. Only 3 of the men were ever found. Perhaps man will always be driven to conquer his own private world, as Edward Whymper was. With the coming of a new year, the Swiss celebrate with a style and enthusiasm that will make Zermatt your favorite winter holiday resort in the world. You will feel the energy begin to build early on New Year's Eve as the hoteliers provide their customers with special menus and entertainment for the festive evening to come. Some 4- and 5-star hotels have live orchestra and black tie formal celebrations. After all, this is the season to be jolly. Up on the mountain in Riffelberg, the flowing beauty of the torchlight skiers, along with the fireworks display, brings to a climax all the magic of the Alps. Zermatt's Christmas gift to the traveler abounds all year round. The rich tradition of the Swiss, the majestic beauty of the Alps, stately, elegant hotels, artistically prepared meals, the romance of a one-horse open sleigh, sporting action for the entire family, world-class shopping. Zermatt holds magic and adventure for all who come under its spell. You'll find it enchanting. Now enjoy an exciting preview of other world travel videos available in our Swiss collection. Autumn in the Alps, one of nature's most beautiful shows. And in the Alps of Switzerland, the show is at its very best. It's absolutely breathtaking. From the grandeur of snow-capped peaks to the colorful autumn coats worn by stately firs dotting the countryside, Switzerland delights the traveler's eye with a tableau like no other in the world. In the next few minutes, you'll enjoy a sample of this feast, the Matterhorn and other majestic peaks, a trip across the top of the Alps on the Glacier Express, quaint villages and towns, and special places of interest. All this and more awaits as we visit Switzerland for Autumn in the Alps. Come and enjoy a Clusters Davos holiday. Nestled in a picturesque valley bordered by majestic mountains, both resorts are linked together by ski lift, rail, and road. Clusters in Davos offer many varied accommodations, including hotels, chalets, hostels, and for the more adventuresome, even camping facilities. At all price levels, they are spotlessly clean, impeccably run, and an excellent value. Restaurants are no exception. You can eat as expensively here as anywhere in Europe, but the country also has a wealth of very reasonably priced eating houses, serving delicious foods. And, by all means, don't forget to sample another specialty, chocolate. For the skier and non-skier alike, Clusters in Davos offer a wide range of sporting activities. Although hang gliding is a relatively new sport in Switzerland, it is exhilarating. The view is truly spectacular when the snow is on the ground. But whatever the weather, hang gliding is not a sport for the faint-hearted. A sport said to have originated in the Clusters Davos area is tobogganing, featuring turns which are guaranteed to keep you from worrying about the IRS and completely forget about that unpaid health insurance bill. Clusters in Davos, truly a remarkable holiday. Switzerland might well be called the international railway junction of Western and Central Europe because so many mainline international expresses link it with all its neighbors and more distant countries. At the top end of the scale, the Palace Hotel here in Stade offers indoor and outdoor pools, sauna, dancing, gardens, and all the amenities. You'll find both luxury and superb Swiss service, unequaled anywhere. Innumerable inns and small restaurants all over the country do a thriving trade with local patrons who know that one can enjoy a local specialty dish here. Many popular regional dishes relished for centuries in farmstead kitchens now appear on the best menus. Winter in Stade will also help you find romantic adventure. And for those of you who enjoy observing the serene beauty of Switzerland from high above, World Travel Video takes you on a ballooning adventure you'll never forget. Switzerland is also a land of rolling wine country, a land whose wines are among the most unique and interesting in the world. And each fall, the Swiss observe the start of the grape harvest with a series of colorful, fun-filled celebrations that are one of the world's best-kept secrets, the wine and the wine festivals of Switzerland. Skiing in Switzerland accounts for more than 40% of the country's total returns from tourism. And as a result, the Swiss have spent much time and effort over the last 10 years improving their already excellent skiing facilities. World Travel Video will show you some of the most famous and majestic peaks in all the world. Where to find the powder at once breathtaking and exhilarating.